New draw. Oh. Oh. New draw. Okay. Okay. Oh, new Angeal. It's a water sword. New Glen exclusive weapon, which it's, yeah, Pirate Glen. I actually like that look. It looks pretty good. All right, I want to see one thing really quick before I go into beginner's returning limit break draw. Okay, so maybe I won't be as bad. We'll take a look at that in a second though. Hold on. All right, perfect. This is what I was curious about. All right. So adjustments. They were given boost HP. So they made a mistake on the Aerith banner. It was supposed to have physical and magic defense. I did cover this in my YouTube video, but not on stream because obviously I didn't know that they had messed up. But they said that they were going to update the outfits for specifically Barret, or for Barret and Tifa. So I want to see what they did with the Tifa outfit really quick. Woo! Holy, that is way too strong. Okay, to put this in perspective, this outfit has plus 15% physical defense and 5% HP. And like, this is what I thought we would get, like an extra 5 or 10, even 10%. I'd have been like, yeah, sure, that's fine. Like, whatever, like 10%'s fine, right? No big deal. That's crazy. Like, yeah, it's just a level 2 boost, but I wasn't expecting to get a, because that's separate from, you remember that is separate from the weapon abilities now. So this is an additional 15% on top of weapon abilities. So that's why, obviously, like 15% is only level 2 for boost HP. That's not that big of a deal, but 15% separated from the weapon abilities is massive. That's a huge upgrade. I assume that's what they did with Aerith's as well then. Oh, hey now. Oh, that's way worse. That's way worse. That makes the Barret and the Tifa outfits way better. Did they do that to the Barret one too? Wow. Yeah, those two outfits are way better now. That is not the same. That is not the same. Those updates to those two banners, or those two outfits, that is not equal. Like, it's good. Like the Aerith outfit is good now, right? And it's nice that she gets boost HP. There's nothing wrong with that, right? At the end of the day, there's nothing wrong with that. The boost HP is fine. The reason why I had been bemoaned Aerith getting the boost HP before was because she has a ton of weapons that she currently uses that have boost HP on them. So like, it's a really redundant and unnecessary R ability for Aerith in particular. And so like, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense for her to have boost HP. And I figured they were just gonna do this and then tack on like, you know, 5, say 10% HP on the unique ability, because that would make sense, right? But to just throw this onto those two and then give Aerith the 15, like again, the Aerith outfit is now good, right? It was okay before, and it was good, but not good, you know what I mean? But now it's like, it's good. It's like a solid like 8 out of 10, even a 9 out of 10. Yeah, you could consider pulling on that and I wouldn't blame you, right? These two banners now, like the two wind outfits, these are easy pulls now. These are easy pulls, especially for Barret. 15% to both defenses and 15% to HP, separate from his R abilities. This is gonna be one of his best outfits. Like hands down, for real, for real. So yeah, that's crazy. Those are not the same. That is not the same upgrade. Like, I did not realize they were gonna make those two banners that strong. That's crazy. All right, so enough of that though. Enough of that. Let's check out the new, it is a featured weapon draw, which, you know, again, thank you. I figured they were gonna do featured for this one in next week before the Final Fantasy VI banners. But, you know, you never know, truth be told. But these are two new featured weapons. Let's start with the aesthetics for Pirate Glen. I love this. I think this is great. I love the weapon. I love the way the weapon looks. I think the weapon looks great. It looks very like, it's giving Thor to me more than Pirate. Like well, I guess it kind of looks like God of War a little bit, doesn't it? Like Kratos. It looks Norse. That's kind of what I'm saying. It kind of looks Norse to me. It's more like, don't forget the individual like comparisons. It looks very Norse related, especially with the fur on the back. This looks, I mean, it looks great. I love this outfit a lot. I love this outfit a lot. And his face looks a little younger, doesn't it, in this? Maybe it's because they took out his facial hair a little bit. But he looks baby faced here. He looks like a teenager. I love the boots. Yeah, this outfit's great. This outfit's great. I love the aesthetics of this a lot. I like this a lot. This is probably Glenn's best outfit. This is a great outfit. I love this a lot. All right, let's check things out. We got Pirate's Glaive. An OB0, 430% seems high. All right, OB0 gives Provoke, Veil, and applies HP gain to all allies. What? So at OB10, it's got 664 attack, does 800% damage to in an area of effect. That's pretty high for an AoE non-elemental attack, especially for a featured weapon. It's not bad for a defensive weapon too. That's not bad at all. And then Provoke, you get a 10% Veil, and then HP gain. All allies, when triggered, restore 8% of the target's max HP. During this buff effect, each time the caster attacks an enemy. Oh, that's really good. What a cool effect. No, I like that a lot. It's kind of like lifesteal, yeah, but it's a set amount, right? It's a set amount of lifesteal. So it's based off of the user. So it's not even like Glenn's HP. It's based off of the caster's HP. And 8% is a small figure, but over 30 seconds, you're probably gonna get at least 2 cast off. That's 16%. That's a 16% heal. That's pretty good, right? That's pretty good. And that lasts for half of the provoke duration. Yeah, no, it's good. It's a good weapon. Defensive R abilities with offensive sigil abilities, which I don't mind on Glenn specifically. They are trying to push him into a more like tank state, right? They're trying to make him more of a tank. And I think this like really aligns with where they're trying to head or take him, especially with his new ultimate weapon. It makes a lot of sense to me. Yeah, no, it's a good weapon. It's a good weapon. It's definitely more defensive, so it's not something that you should prioritize or honestly even pull for right now. Just be grateful that this is going to be added to the pool, because obviously having a weapon with this much attack with these R abilities is great for a sub weapon, but also just on Glenn in general. It's his first instance of Veil that I'm aware of. This regen or this healing effect is really cool, and Glenn doesn't really have a heal effect right now, so that's nice. The damage is solid, and Glenn actually has some weapons that are great offensively to pair with this, so he doesn't have to be full defense with this. He can bring in Ultimatic, which is a really good single target non-elemental physical damage weapon, or Blade of Ruin, which is a great ice weapon that does 940% ice physical damage and has enough physical attack that you don't have to worry about having an offhand weapon or having a defensive weapon in your offhand, right? It actually works for Glenn. And even though you've got redundancy there with the provoke with Blade of Ruin, it doesn't really matter, right? It's still really good. It's still really, really good. So yeah, no, this is solid. That's a solid weapon. Check out the outfit. It does come with Reprieve. This is also very good, especially on tanks, right? And with Glenn getting all of these provokes, all of these defensive R abilities, it's very hard to take Glenn down. And now he's going to come back to life. This is a very good outfit. Like, regardless of what this does, this is a very good outfit. Oh my God. All right, let's just jack his defense even higher. Good Lord. These last two Glenn Vanners have really been like a massive update to his kit. He's gone from being like a subpar character. I guess I would just say character, right? He didn't really do a lot outside of his water damage, right? If you had his water build, that was pretty much all Glenn did. Unlike the rest of the characters in this game that all kind of could fit multiple roles and do multiple things, the last two banners that they've released for Glenn and the ultimate weapon that they released for Glenn have really done a lot to push him in a tank direction and make him stronger. This is really good. This is really good. If you don't have a defensive option or a defensive character or a defensive outfit, I think this is a great one to pull on. Obviously, right now, I think all of us are probably recovering from the Ever Crisis Academy banners or saving up for the Final Fantasy VI rerun, which is kind of a bummer. But just keep this banner in mind for whenever we get one of those gear vouchers that lets us pick like an old gear, because this is a great one to have. Like, I have nothing bad to say about this banner. This banner's great. And that's without even looking at the Angeal weapon yet. This banner's great. That's awesome. Let's take a look at Angeal's weapon. The Mythril Slasher, first and foremost, I love the way this weapon looks. I think this looks great. This is super cool. Let's go to OB6. Okay, it does go mid to high. I had to double check. They got me with the Aerith weapon, so I had to make sure that at OB6 it actually did the thing it was supposed to do. I wasn't sure, you know. All right, so the Mythril Slasher at OB10, it does a 580% magic water damage to an AoE. When you have a buff, it does water resist decrease mid to high with a provoke. Yeah, it's good. Magic's a little weird for Angeal. That OB10 does 580% magic water damage to all enemies. When buff is granted to self, water resist is decreased. And then provoke is applied. I wonder, so provoke is not a buff, right? So provoke is not a buff. So that means you would have to give Angeal a buff here. And the reason why, good R ability, or good sigil abilities here too, and good R abilities as well. 62 magic attack and 39 water potency, it's not bad at all. The reason why this is a little weird on Angeal specifically is that his featured weapon pool doesn't give a lot of offensive buffs that pair well with magic damage, right? His only real good buff that he can self buff is Stalwart Integrity, or I think Gargantuan Monolith does like a self defense buff, which is an option, but that's more of a defense sub weapon or a defense offhand versus an actual offensive offhand. So he doesn't really have a good way to pair this off with a magic focused buff, unless you pulled for his limited weapon, in which case you're fine, right? You've got a team-wide defense buff with magic defense and physical defense, you'll be just fine. So yeah, it's not a bad thing. It's a good weapon, and there are other weapons in the game that give team-wide buffs that can give Angeal the buff, right? So you can bring in, say, Aerith, who gives your entire team water damage up. This is now a great character to bring with that team, because now Aerith can bring the water weapon that increases everybody's water damage, can bring Crimson Staff, which gives everybody magic attack up, lower everybody's magic defense, and that enables Angeal to then lower all of the enemy's water resist while dealing a decent amount of water damage in an area of effect. So it's pretty good. It's pretty good. It's definitely not a bad weapon. It's definitely not something I would prioritize. I think this is something that you could probably put on wishlist going forward, because obviously having an AoE water resist weapon down is not bad. Mid to high is still pretty good. It's a decent amount of water damage at 580%. It's good. It's solid, man. It's a solid weapon. Having provoke on it as well is great for Angeal. And 674 magic attack is not low, by the way. That's a very good magic attack stat. Not the highest in the game, obviously, but that's a very respectable magic attack stat. So, and with a full 62 points of magic attack, he can main hand this weapon and be done with magic attack, and just take all of the remaining sub weapons for water potency, magic ability potency, whatever you want to do. So yeah, solid weapon, man. Solid. Definitely worth pulling for in terms of like on banners moving forward. But yeah, man, that's a great water resist down weapon for sure. Much like the other resist down weapons, it does require OB6 to get to high, which is kind of a bummer. But for a featured weapon that you're gonna pull over time, that's not that big of a deal, right? No big deal. Okay, so in terms of the wish list, I think if you're pulling on this banner, you're probably pulling for Glenn, which would be a pretty easy one for me. I think I would just include the physical weapons that he has to kind of coincide with this physically focused weapon. So Blade of Ruin, his recently released ice weapon, is a great option. Gives him maxed out physical attack with a really solid physical attack, physical ice attack rather, and an increase to the command gauge, which helps you get to the max diamond faster, which allows your ice DPSs to get to their maximum amount of damage a lot faster, which is a great option. For in terms of his other options, you have Ultimatic, which is a great non-elemental attack that also has a circle sigil on it. With really great R abilities, this makes for an awesome sub weapon as well, which is doubly useful. So I would include Ultimatic on here as well. The rest of his weapons are kind of just okay. Now, most of his weapons that I would argue are pretty sub weapony. So like things like Personal Style, while it does do a non-elemental attack, it's more of a sub weapon for water potency. Same with Crew Kicker. It's more of a sub weapon for fire potency, though it has a decent fire damage attack. Jiggy Fam is a bad magic weapon. A lot of these weapons are just kind of like okay. You know, you've got like good vibes that does an AoE physical defense and magic defense buff, but for 5 ATB, that's kind of a lot. There are better options in the game for that kind of effect. You do have a Diamond Sigil break and Rest in Peace. This one's just kind of okay too. There are other Diamond Sigil breaks on other characters. It's nice to have one for Glenn, but I don't think I would prioritize this. I think I'd just, you know, pull it eventually. And the rest of his weapons are just kind of subpar. So if you're looking for something in particular that's a little bit different, you could look at Slay the Day as an option for a 3 ATB medium physical defense decrease. This also gives some water potency as well with the water potency sigil. So you, a water potency materia slot. So that's an option. If you wanted to do something like that with Glenn, you could with his new weapon. I don't think that's necessary though. I would again just focus on getting the new featured weapons. In terms of Angeal and his water weapon, I would just be grateful that there's a water weapon on here. You could look at a Gargantuan Monolith, again, just to give him a magic defense buff, to give him that buff to allow you to get your water resist down. That way he could self buff and not have to worry about somebody else buffing his stats for him. It's also a really good sub weapon for magic damage, which is obviously very nice. But other than that, it's just okay. It's not something that I think you have to prioritize. There are a bunch of weapons in Angeal's kit that he could also utilize that are a little bit more flexible in terms of like what they do. So in terms of like the type 91 two-hander as an example is a magic focused weapon, decreases the enemy's physical attack and magic attack, has a Diamond Sigil break, is only 3 ATB, and has boost HP, which is great, and boost ability potency, which is both for physical and magic. So it makes it doubly useful for both his physical and magic builds. Lots of options for Angeal though. Angeal's kit's one of the best in the games in terms of just being a tank in general. Angeal is a very good tank, and there's a lot of really great options here. You just kind of have to pick whichever one you want. If you're looking for something else that does some damage, you could look at CC Alloy Greatsword, which is redundant in terms of the magic attack, but it is a 900% magic lightning damage weapon, so it's pretty good overall. In terms of the like building out for Glenn, it's pretty easy. I don't think you need to prioritize any weapons in the gacha pool for Glenn's build. I think you're probably going to be looking at the guild weapons, which do physical defense and magic defense, all allies. I think you're going to be looking at things like, you know, physical attack, magic attack, all allies. He's going to have a lot of supportive effects in his offhand, so I don't think you really have to worry about that. For Angeal specifically, I think it's probably the same. I don't think you're going to try to maximize his water damage at all. It's not like he got an Arcanum to go with this, and his water Arcanum that he already has is able to be both magic and physical, because it did not come with a specific what I'm looking for here. It didn't come with a specific damage focused R ability, right? So let me pull it up really quick. Where is Angeal? Angeal. So I got defense all allies and the water blade Arcanum. So if you pulled for this, that featured weapon actually gets a 35% boost from this, and your entire team gets 5% to their magic and physical defense, which isn't bad. So I mean, that actually pairs pretty well with this overall. It's an option if you have it available. But if you do have it available, then maybe you do throw some water potency weapons on his offhand. But I think if you're going to do that, you're probably looking at just the leftovers for Angeal. I don't think you're trying to pull for anything in particular. You can probably look at things like, because there's a couple of physical attack weapons, and obviously they're not all going to be used, right? Like all 3 of these physical attack weapons, meaning Maritime Sword, Slay the Day, and Black Whiskers, are not going to be used on every single character. So one of these weapons, you could give that over to Angeal if you wanted to for a physical attack option. In terms of magic attack, you could look at Bunny Gloves if you're not using this as like a damage weapon, but I don't know why you wouldn't be in that case. So you really can't use that. And then most of the other options, I think you're probably already utilizing. So you're probably looking at the event weapons that are currently available in the Blitzrad event. So the Rad Glaive and the Rad Rod are both 2 options. And then the Rad Blade also is boost HP and water potency. This is another good option. But most of it's just going to be whatever's left over, right? I don't think you have to wishlist anything in particular, but if you're looking for something in particular to wishlist, I would just put something on here that has the that's going to be the stuff that you want to use for the guild battle, right? Because that's the only reason you'd really be pulling on this banner, is if you wanted to pull on it for the guild battle. So bunny gloves, feathered gloves, any of the water potency sub weapons, all the stuff that we talked about with the Aerith banner review, basically the same thing applies here, right? You can look at Orthodox Raven from Matt, Serpent Eater from Lucia. Those are both HP and water potency weapons. You could look at the collar from Red 13, that's attack and water potency. There are a lot of decent, not great options. But if you're going to be pulling for this, for specifically the water resist down weapon, that's the stuff that I would pull for. So other than that, I think this is a pretty easy skip. Although that said, it's not an easy skip in terms of like, oh, this banner is bad. No, this banner is great. I just don't think any of us have resources, and there's better stuff for us to spend our resources on coming up in the next, 3 months. So if you're free to play, it's kind of hard to pull on this banner if you pulled on any of the Ever Crisis banners, the Ever Crisis Academy banners rather. And I don't think that this weapon is so overpowered for a tank weapon that it requires being pulled on today, right? And then with the water resist down, it's nice to have an area of effect one, but again, it's a featured weapon that we're going to be able to get in the future. I don't think it's something you have to prioritize right now. And it's a pretty easy one to just be like, you know what? I'm really grateful. Thank you so much for adding it to the game. Not going to pull on that though. And just move on. But again, love the outfit. I think it's great.